Um, I'll let you know. I mean, I'll go back to an earlier comment I made about just thinking, wow, if we could only be $1 million business, you know, and I think, having done this now for 30 years, I've evolved as a person. The things that are important to me back then are different today, and different phases along the way. And so success can be measured in so many different ways. For me, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of what matters to me is ensuring our company is extremely healthy financially so we can provide a life where we are lifting people up in this world and not dragging them down. And so that is a very large measure of success, which is the totality of our team members' lives. We do a survey every year called the Image One Happy, and it's 85 questions, and it revolves around the totality of their lives, not only the work that they do at Image One, but what's happening outside of Image One. And we have them rank their life happiness on a scale from 1 to 10. And then after we have all that data, we go to work and try to figure out how we can make little shifts, do little things. Never, it's not usually big things, actually. It's little things to enhance their lives, to make a difference, to help raise the score up for the overall happiness of our team. And so if I'm, going out to pasture and I'm looking back, I just would wonder, did I do a good job at that? Was I able to make an impact within the team? And then that extends out into the communities of which we're a part of. And the team, we empower the team to stretch out into the community. It's an expectation, actually, when you come into the company. And so the more people we have, the more reach they'll have. And that, you can see kind of how that cycle of care, as we like to call it, starts to really gain a lot of steam and really go and move at a pace where it can't be stopped. And that's what we're working towards. And I don't know that we'll really ever get there, because I don't know what there is.
For the record, I think that's a terrible question. And I've asked a few of my entrepreneur friends about it. They're like, I don't feel like I've made it yet. And I think that's the case. As soon as you get to a point where you could start to relax and you can start to enjoy it, I think you raise the bar yourself, and you create this next level that you still have to try to achieve. We did that with this building. We built a $3 million building after renting a small rental unit for about 10 years. So we really raised our fixed expenses trying to grow very rapidly. So while we're finally to the point where we're starting to make some money and we're breaking even, and that's just in the last couple of years here, yeah, I don't think it's going to stop there. I think there's going to be something else that, we start a second location or a third location and keep growing the business. And I think we'll keep feeling like we haven't quite made it yet. So that's about the best answer I can give that question.
I'm not there yet. In fact, I just wrote an email this morning to my coworker, partner. Complacency is the most worst word in the English language for me. So I don't think I've arrived at all, and I hope I never do. So I'm satisfied. I'm happy, but not satisfied. So I've not arrived yet, and I'm still cranking.
Yeah, I would say almost immediately. Within a year or two, I think we felt we were solidly on the right path. We had some decent customers. I mean, we were lucky. A lot of companies talk about how they were struggling to make payroll. We never missed payroll in over 20 years. The owners never missed a paycheck except for maybe once or twice in the very first year. So we always had enough cash flow to pay our bills. The bills were much smaller back then, but we were able to make it work. So we felt very fortunate.
I've never been comfortable. Nothing's ever changed. You know, it's interesting. I didn't have a goal of financial success. You know, people talk about vision. I had a vision, but the vision was not, okay, I want to make X number of dollars or have a company that does revenue of this. You know, it really wasn't until Gino I didn't really have a freaking plan, right? So, I started working with Gino in 2003, right? Yeah, 2003. So I always say, I knew Gino before, he was Gino. So we've been in business for, 12 years. I never had a plan. I didn't have a VTO, right? Didn't have a 1-year plan or a 3-year plan or a 10-year. So I always say that it was all done by brute force, and I just say, a few nincompoops, we figured it out every day and took chances and made a lot of mistakes and listened.
That's a great question. And I think for me, success and security have come at different stages. So I was probably 4 months into the business and I knew I was never going back to corporate life. I knew that this entrepreneurial life I was meant for. I was good at it. Finally working 90 hours a week, I got to benefit from that extra effort, not my employer. And I was break even on the business within 4 months. So I think some of the fear went down, but then I'd reinvest in the business. And, it probably was another 4 years before I felt like, wow, I can take a 2-week vacation. I've got a team where I don't feel like I have to be connected every minute of every day. The reality is, for that first 4 years, I probably didn't take that first year, I didn't take a day off, probably. So realistic expectations of being an entrepreneur. And then, years 1 through 4, probably no more than a week. And still was pretty connected to my phone. I think year 4, I started to be able to invest in a broader team that was at a higher caliber, so that I could disconnect more, actually have my first out of office message, where I, was going to be unreachable, take time with my family. And it was quality time, not just away time, but I was still connected, right? I was present. That took a few years. Unfortunately, my kids were really young and they probably won't remember that mommy wasn't as connected as she should have been to them in the early stages. And then, we've evolved. We started putting in traction, entrepreneurial operating system to everything that we do, in 2013. So, that first year evolved us, and 2 or 3 years later, I had a team that got it with me. So I'd say this last 5 years has been my greatest gift, where I love the people I work with. They're all hard drivers with huge heart. We lay out a budget, they hit their numbers, and that feels really good. And I really get to spend, particularly the last 3 or 4 years, just doing the things that I love. And I really could do it in a 30-hour week. Now, I might choose to work more than that. We've lived through COVID. We got every one of our franchisees through the PPP loan process, right? I took that on myself. And so I worked a lot more, 4 weeks, and legislative, lobbying and things like that. But other than special projects, I really can do what the business needs me to do in 30 hours a week or less. Allows me to, take my kids to school and pick them up from school and make them dinner and do homework. I'm a very, traditional mom, but yet I'm running a $500 million company. But I've got a great team to do it.